Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lou and I'm a classical Pilates teacher. Today I'm going to show you a couple more exercises to progress. Hopefully you've started from the beginning and you've started working on your roll backs and your roll ups and your hundreds, and you're starting to really strengthen those core stomach muscles that stabilize your hips and spine. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more in the repertoire that it's really great foundational that you want to start with. And so our next exercise we call single leg circles. But I do like to always give a variation of a stretch to begin with, because I think that's really nice, and I find everybody that comes into the studio has tight hamstrings and hips. So you can get these bands most places these days. Traditionally, physiotherapists sell them. You could go there, you could go to Kmart. I'm not really sure what they sell in Kmart, but I recommend the colour black, which is the strongest one. This is slightly stronger, but I find you can't typically find these many places. But that's a good one. So the legs and or blue colour is a little bit lighter than the black. So let's go with black. This is probably the one I recommend the most, and if you buy it through a physio, usually they cut it in like a 2 meter length. This one's a little bit shorter. I probably used it as an offcut. So what you're going to do is, when you use these bands, make sure it's nice and flat over your foot. Okay, I don't want it all bunched up. So it needs to be really comfortable. So you're going to get that set up nicely first. Have the hands nice and even on the band. Make sure you're in a straight line as you roll down. Elongate your head and neck onto the mat, and then just simply bring your leg up to the ceiling. So again, here you want to have a feeling of stabilizing through your hips and your core center. You don't want to have it all twisted or, hiked up. Be very mindful to keep your hips and shoulders quite square, and then depending on how your hamstrings feel, how tight they are, you just simply walk your hands up the band till it feels like there's a stretch in the back of your leg. The most important thing here is I don't want you to have a wrestle match with your leg and pull down really firmly onto it, because it's just going to create the muscle, it'll make it grab on a little bit more. So we want to go into a nice, passive, gentle stretch. And that's the reason why I like using the bands, because it allows you to be passive and gentle through the stretching process. All right, so just a simple stretch here, the hamstring coming towards the head. And I recommend a good, 4 to 8 breaths for this particular stretch. Okay, then you're going to take the opposite hand to foot, and then this hand's going to be on the floor supporting you, and you want to bring this leg high across your body so it didn't go very far. Keep the hips really down into the mat, and I want you to think about bringing that heel across to your shoulder. Okay, so it's not going down here low, it's literally where you were in the hamstring stretch, and then from there you bring it up across the chest towards that opposite shoulder. Okay, that's going to get up through the probably that piriformis area of the glute, and just take a couple of big deep breaths here as well. I recommend, when you do these stretches at home, I recommend that you do these at least 4 to 8 breaths per stretch. Okay. And then when we go into, so this one's going to stretch the groin, allow the leg to come outside the body. You can switch hands if it's easier, just find what feels comfortable in your body, but be very careful on this groin stretch not to overstretch the area. It can be tempting to let it really go. But what's nice as well, if you hold it in the opposite hand, you can support the outside of that leg a little bit and just go very easy, gentle, test it out. Again, you want to keep it drawing up high. If you let it come down too low, you won't find enough of a stretch. Again, a few breaths in that one. And then bring that back up towards the ceiling. Now we want to hold the band either side, okay? Make sure it hasn't bunched up, it's nice and flat and comfortable over the arch of the foot. Alright, and then you're going to anchor the elbows down into the mat, and I want you to push the band a little bit away so you have a bit of a flexed ankle here. Alright, and we're going to go across the body, circle around to the outside of the body and back up to the ceiling, and you stop. Feel like you're initiating the movement from the deep layers of the lower stomach again, okay? Stabilize the hips. They're going to be completely still, not lifting up off the mat. You go cross, reach through the band, circle out wide, come back up to the top and stop. And again, cross, circle, stabilizing through the center, stomach is on, and stop. Let's now go opposite direction. Open, big circle, press through the band with a slightly pointed toe and back up to the ceiling. 2 more in that direction. Open, circle, around and up. Last one. Open, circle, around and up. Alright, now you've got a bit of movement going on with this hip joint, the ball socket joint, the hamstring's been up for a while here now. So it's a little bit warmed up. I want you to come into one last hamstring stretch before you switch sides. So take a big breath in, both hands on the band, and you can come a little bit higher this time, a little bit deeper into the hamstring stretch. Big exhale to stretch. Now I want you to flex that heel. Pull the toe back down towards you, push the heel up towards the ceiling, and you'll feel it stretch right up through the back of the leg if you're tight there. Okay, now here's a little transition into our seated position that I like to do. So you're going to use this band as a tool to help you roll up. So if you've been practicing in the previous videos your roll-ups, this should be easy. So you're going to take a big breath in. And as you exhale, you go chin to chest and you press the leg away. Hold onto the band. So it's like you're drawing a line through the center of your body with your nose to come up nice and straight. And then you will switch sides. Okay, so that one is your, the exercise itself is called single leg circles, but I always put the stretch into it first because it just, I find everybody needs it this day and age with sitting down, and we're all tight through our bodies with our crazy lives. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share it with friends, and I'll see you in the next video.